ready to begin our committee meetings. We're going to start with utilities with Mr. Ruckman to discuss drinking water treatment material report for 2026.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. We're going to be going through drinking water treatment material report of 2026. So I am going to turn this over and we'll get right into it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ruckman. Mr. Hall would like to approach the bench.
Lectern.
Let me dream, Rob. All right. All right, council, in front of you, you have the drinking water treatment material report from 2026. Last council meeting, we had a gentleman come in and ask if there could be an update regarding the lime sludge, or what is more technically referred to as drinking water treatment material, that lime byproduct that we have at a temporary site on Old Delaware Road. So we're going to go through here and we're going to give you really the full scope of everything because this will be released not only to you all but to the media. So I want to make sure that whoever gets this full package here understands what they're looking at and has the full context here. So we're going to look at an intro to lime, uses of lime in water treatment, what is the lime byproduct, some safety considerations there, destination of the lime byproduct, where does it go after, you know, we have created a byproduct, the story of generation and accumulation, our removal progress, a timeline of events specific to Mount Vernon, our current collection and past challenges, and developing a drinking water treatment management plan, or drinking water treatment material management plan. That is a mouthful. So next, take you back to 6th grade science. Remember these little graphics? That's the lime cycle. How about that? So an introduction to lime. So lime plays a crucial role in drinking water treatment, where it primarily takes the form of quicklime or calcium oxide. The product is then hydrated, which becomes calcium hydroxide. And I will not dwell there long for those of you that have PTSD from high school chem. This substance is produced by heating and processing limestone, resulting in an alkaline material that readily reacts with water to create a slurry or solution. In water treatment, lime serves as an affordable and effective reagent, helping to enhance overall quality by addressing various impurities and chemical imbalances. There you see that image. There you have that. Again, we're talking about a slurry. That's what's going to be injected into that, into your raw water material to get that good, beautiful, high-quality H2O image that you saw on the first screen. So if you think I'm not going to drop an Adam Sandler reference along the way, we haven't met. So we're going to go to the next page here, and that delicious image you see there is not a vanilla milkshake. That's that lime slurry. So, water treatment processes. Lime is chiefly employed for softening water, which involves precipitating materials like calcium and magnesium that cause hardness, turning them into insoluble compounds that can be easily removed. Beyond softening, lime helps adjust the pH levels to counteract acidity, while also eliminating other impurities such as silica, heavy metals, and suspended solids. It even contributes to disinfection by reducing the presence of bacteria and viruses. Overall, these applications lead to improved taste, lessened odor, and clarity in drinking water, making lime a staple in municipal treatment plants for its efficiency and cost effectiveness. So before we keep moving, do any of you have questions so far? No. All right. So what is the lime byproduct? So after we are done utilizing the lime and it's done its job, it creates a lime byproduct. So lime byproduct, commonly referred to as lime sludge, more technically, drinking water treatment material, or DWTM, emerges as a residual solid during the water softening process. It mainly consists of calcium carbonate, magnesium hydroxide, and small amounts of impurities like silica and metals. This sludge forms through a chemical reaction where lime binds with hardness minerals in raw water, causing them to settle out. In our system, and Dave, we treat about how many gallons of water a day?
A day, we do about 3 million gallons a day, maybe a little less on average.
So, little less, little more, 3 million gallons a day. With that, we generate about 2,000 tons of this byproduct annually, which requires careful management to ensure environmental compliance and operational efficiency. The photo you see there is not Mount Vernon. That's an example. Next photo you see is Mount Vernon, or more importantly, was Mount Vernon. All right. Safety considerations. Is that lime byproduct harmful? Short answer, no. Would I take a big bite of it? No. I also wouldn't swallow a bunch of shampoo. All right? Would not be desirable. When handled properly, the lime byproduct is classified as a non-hazardous waste in its dry form, though it maintains an alkaline pH between 10 and 12, which can make it dusty and potentially irritating to the skin, eyes, and respiratory system if not managed correctly. And I want to keep highlighting that, if not managed correctly. So health risks include possible burns or irritation upon contact with moisture, and dust inhalation might cause coughing or throat discomfort, but primary components are not known to be carcinogenic even if trace silica is present. So to ensure safety, it's essential to use protective equipment like gloves or goggles and respirators, along with adequate ventilation and dust suppression measures. The material isn't flammable or explosive, and while its alkaline properties could affect soil or water pH if disposed improperly, regulated reuse practices minimize any environmental impact. So, we put a significant amount at a temporary site. So before we move on here, I want you to recognize that when we generate this material, it goes to a lime storage lagoon across from the water treatment plant. What you are looking at, and I want you to kind of hold on to that image for a second, because you're going to see a tale of two images. That was the temporary storage site where we took out a significant amount of that lime back in 2022. All right. So moving on. So what happens to that lime byproduct? The lime byproduct is primarily managed through beneficial reuse, such as land application on agricultural fields, where it serves as a valuable soil amendment to raise pH levels and supply essential nutrients like calcium, supporting crop growth. If reuse isn't viable, alternatives include disposal in approved landfills, or in some cases, recalcining the material for reintegration into treatment processes, which is basically a large kiln, and you can burn it back into reuse. For the amount that we generate and the cost of that process, that does not make a lot of sense for us, but that is an option for larger utilities. Us, on the other hand, currently the dewatered sludge from the old Delaware Road temporary site is transported by truck to these farms, all in line with Ohio EPA regulations to avoid any harm to the environment. Looking ahead, our focus is on expanding sustainable reuse options and bolster local farming communities. So before we keep moving forward, any questions?
How much do we initially have and how much has been used and how much is left?
We are gonna get to that. Hang tight.
Oh,
Yep, that is very specifically answered on these slides, so. So, generation and accumulation. That is a photo of our lime lagoons across from the water treatment plant. So each year, our water treatment plant produces around 2,000 tons of lime byproduct, a direct result of the sulfiting process. Over time, due to historical storage methods, we've accumulated a significant backlog at the lagoon storage site on Old Delaware Road, internally estimated over 60,000 cubic yards, which translates roughly to 72,000 tons based on the material's density. That's a lot of lime. All right. The temporary storage, so that's the Lime Lagoons. The temporary storage at 1700 Old Delaware Road in that area holds sludge that has been transferred from the plant's lagoons to allow for distribution to farm fields directly and allow for the lagoons to continue collecting material from our ongoing treatment process. All right.
That slide there, pause. So
Mhm.
is that the current, is that a current picture or when they were both full?
That is probably, that's a current photo.
And when did, which one of those did we empty, basically?
The one on the left.
Yeah.
The one on the left?
Yeah, that's why the blue you see is actually water, because that's where we're actually depositing the lime sludge right now.
Okay, I see.
And so it's still in the dewatering process. Yeah, it's evaporating
And
off.
so that one's probably only got 4 or 5 inches in it or whatever.
It's probably got more than that. Well, you know, less than a foot, I would say. Yeah.
One of the issues though, that when the farmers can use it, is when the field's dry and when there's no crop on it. So for us transporting that, it doesn't fit in with their time frame perfectly.
You're reading ahead, Bruce. All right. So,
Right.
all right.
Ready?
Yep. So remember that photo from earlier? This is that temporary storage site now. Well, actually not right now. It's covered in snow right now, so it's all white, but
Yeah.
yeah. So in 2025, now we're going to look at our removal progress. In 2025, we successfully removed about 10,384 tons, achieving key interim milestones set by the EPA. And since 2022, the removal has exceeded about a little over 42,000 tons. So in 22, specifically, in 2022, we removed about 12,745 tons. In 23, we removed about 11,900 tons. In 24, about 7,040 tons. In 25, again, 10,384 tons, for a total of 42,078 tons. On the efficiency front, this effort costs approximately about $125,000 per year, with sludge being hauled by trucks, and 100% of it being directed toward beneficial land application. For 2026, we internally estimate about 12,100 tons remaining, and depending on external factors, President Hawkins mentioned, like weather, site availability, a big one being contractor availability. We are on pace to have all material removed from the temporary site by the end of fall, and it is seasonally applied by the end of fall of 2026. So here's a timeline. If you kind of see within those shapes, we're identifying the years that those areas were targeted. And it can be misleading. It's like, okay, well, why was such a big swath taken out? What really matters is the density, how thick that was. Before 2022, the byproduct was routinely collected at those lagoons across from the treatment plant with a temporary storage location at Old Delaware Road. This capacity became strained, but without a structured annual removal process in place. In September of 22, the Ohio EPA issued an order mandating a removal of 7,500 cubic yards by the end of that year, followed by another 7,500 by mid-23, aiming for full site clearance by December 15th of 23. The city appealed in mid-October 22 due to logistical hurdles and initiated phased removals with an annual budget of about $125,000. From 23 to 25, removals continued steadily with efforts to address resident concerns about dust and field spreading, and progress reports confirming regulatory compliance. Now in 26, final removal from the temporary site. That's where we're looking and will allow us to shift our focus to the development of the drinking water treatment management plan, incorporating a 120% removal rate to prevent future issues with the lagoon site. So current collections and past challenges. Our current system collects lime byproduct in lagoons across the road from the water treatment plant, allowing the sludge to settle. In the past, mismanagement stemmed from inconsistent annual removals and the absence of a dedicated drinking water treatment management plan, or drinking water material management plan, leading to overflows, excessive accumulation, and eventual EPA involvement. These shortcomings resulted in higher costs and potential environmental risks from extended storage and community worries about proper handling. To counter this, we now conduct regular monitoring to maintain lagoon integrity and overall system reliability. We're upgrading mechanical systems that are at the end of their life, and I'm sure David can talk to you more about that, to ensure their viability. And we are developing a drinking water treatment material management plan to limit our exposure to these issues in the future. And finally, what that drinking water treatment material management plan looks like. Actively developing a comprehensive drinking water treatment material management plan to guide the long-term handling of drinking water treatment material, emphasizing sustainable removement and reuse strategies. At the core, the plan sets a goal of removing 120% of the annual byproduct generation. Right now, that equates to 2,400 tons against the 2,000 tons produced for the foreseeable future, ensuring we not only keep up with, but also eliminate the backlog. And now we're talking specifically about the lagoons. We're not talking about the temporary site. This assumes that the site's out of the picture, the temporary site. Essential components include securing an annual budget of $100,000 for removals. That would be within eliminating that cost in the general fund right now. We fund that in that 101,3600 in the general fund. That would shift this back over into the water fund. Prioritizing beneficial reuse opportunities, adhering strictly to EPA directives, and engaging the community for greater transparency. Ultimately, this plan envisions achieving zero net accumulations by 2028 through ongoing monitoring, technological improvements to the lagoon, and the alignment with evolving regulations to streamline operations. So, and then if you think that I'm not gonna die on the hill of putting a hellbender on the water tower.
The bottom line is, we got caught behind by an excessive amount of lime.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now we're trying to gradually get rid of that, plus 125% of what we have. So some of the new lime that's out there, we're trying to have the game, some of the new lime that's out there,
Right.
we're also getting rid of, in addition to what was already backlogged.
Yeah, we've got two things going on. We've got to clear under one, just a moral thing to do / an Ohio EPA mandate. We've got to clear the temporary site.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we also have the lime lagoons that are continually filling up, right? Now, the benefit is we moved a lot of that stuff out of those lagoons so they can continue to refill. But once we have cleared out that space from those temporary sites, we can turn our attention over to the lagoons and start working on that, well, in tandem really, that drinking water treatment material management plan. And our focus, really in 27, 28 will be to look at 120%. So if we produce, 2,000 tons a year, we're removing 2,000 plus 20% more. And as we grow as a community, if we turn another, if we start cranking out another 2,000 tons of byproduct a year, then that 120% is still our target. Yeah.
So the one lagoon is not getting filled right now, correct?
No, currently we are, the picture, the right-hand side is drying, the left-hand side is we're actually depositing lime.
So
in
the one that's drying is the one we could
Yeah,
knock a
the one
wall,
with the
hole
blue,
in the
yep.
wall and start pulling it out for farmers
Sure,
and whoever.
yeah.
In reality, what happened is both lagoons were filled to capacity,
Yeah.
and we had to do something, otherwise we wouldn't be able to put it anywhere. And so we were under the gun because they say sort of occasional, but I'm not aware of us ever having cleaned out the lagoons before.
These lagoons were never cleaned.
Yeah, so,
They've been
basically
collecting for 40 years.
40 years. And so it just sat there, and so back in 2022,
Yep.
we were under the gun, and, you know, we had the Ohio EPA, and we actually, Brian and I and our outside lawyers were able to negotiate a pretty good deal with them, mostly because they wanted us to pay hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in fines and things, and we were able to talk them down off of that, but
We also ran the risk, if I may just interject, of the pipe that was depositing the lime material was submerged, was it
It
not?
was submerged, yeah.
So we did not want to risk the opportunity of having any of that calcify inside and shut down operations entirely. So that's why we took the measures that we did at the time.
So I have a question. This says prioritizing beneficial reuse opportunities, and we know about the farmland applications, but are there other ways to get rid of this?
It's primarily either the beneficial reuse or the recalcifying the material. You know, and this is something that Brian's looked at more regionally. If you, as a municipality, don't have and it's essentially a large kiln, if you don't have it, you can get into what is essentially a large co-op and finding other communities that do. That option exists. I don't know that it's the financially feasible option. Really what we should do with whether it is by truck, by rail, we should find more farm fields. We should find more partnerships with either other agricultural co-ops or the Ohio Agricultural Department and kind of expand those options.
I did ask that very question when we started this to see if golf courses would be interested in
Yeah,
this.
I think that
Or
covers
if Ariel Foundation Park might be a candidate. It was, for some reason, I think it was the EPA that was,
Yeah.
that was really the holdup on that, because we knew if there were other potential customers who would take this off of our hands, we could empty that quicker. So I don't know what has changed since 23, was it 22, 23, somewhere around there, 22, or if that's been loosened up at all. But there are some potentially other customers who might benefit from that.
And I know that the lime silos are on that big wish list of improvements. Will some upgrades to those or full replacements create less of this material? Is it something where there can be?
You might see a little improvement in efficiency, yeah, because our slakers, they are wore out, so they're not slaking as efficiently as they should.
I just think
I
every
wouldn't
little bit
expect to
helps.
see a big gain on that, but I would expect to see a small gain.
It's more of a, homage to, we're not dealing with our best and brightest when it comes to the equipment that we're working with. And
Yeah.
I do kind of give definitely credit to our team over in the water treatment facility. And now, thank you to council that we've created a division within the Public Utilities Division, that there is a maintenance crew that can identify these things. That saves our ratepayers, and that allows us to identify these things more readily and address them as we go. But it doesn't, you don't have to be a professional in this to look at that and go, yeah, you might want to take a look at that, so.
Mr. Workman, you already used up most of Mrs. Gager's time.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna give it another 60 seconds and just take up her whole slide.
Thank you.
All the time. No. Does anybody else have any questions?
Okay, we'll
All right.
adjourn the Utilities Commission. We're gonna move to Employee Committee Relations with Mr. Skinner. Discuss employment positions approved by the annual budget.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have one ordinance on one of these positions, and that is ordinance 2026-1. And that is for our city clerk. And then the second position that we're gonna talk about is, an executive administrator in the public utilities and code enforcement. Is that supposed to be enforcement?
Yeah. Wait. Yeah, well, it's supposed to be enforcement,
Supposed to
not
be.
enforcement, but yes.
So I will let the safety service director kind of talk about these two roles, but they were in our annual budget, and so they're already budgeted for. We already have this plan moving forward, but we can talk through some of the specifics of the two jobs, and I'm gonna try and keep us around 5 minutes.
All right.
I know.
Yeah.
Get going.
That's hard for me. All right. Yeah, we'll see if you can do it. All right. So we explored this mid-year last year when we talked about how we were going to structure the council clerk, and not only that, the position of council clerk, but also the needs of really records management, public records management, and clerking other boards and commissions throughout the city. We discussed the need for a full-time position at that time. I think council appreciated it then, and even throughout the year, we understood the need for the full-time position and what good that could do, not only for council, but for the need, the need of records management and retention for the entirety of the city. This is a position that many municipalities have. This is not, us inventing something. So we can provide, I know that this piece of legislation, I don't think it has an attachment with the job description. If you need the job description, we can get that for you, not a problem. Ms. Keener and I and the HR director, Ms. Turner, had a meeting about this position and several others. And I think we were in one accord about what this position provides as far as expanding the scope really from just the council clerk. But do you have questions in particular when it pertains to the city clerk, not the clerk of council position?
Who does this person report to?
This person would be if it's duties reported to, so if this person, and to be direct, this person is going to be Zach Sherman. It is an expansion of the council clerk's position, and we discussed that with Ms. Keener. The full anticipation as to not add to the head count is to expand the scope and change the title of the council clerk's role. Does that make sense?
You didn't answer my question. Who do they report
I'm
to?
answering a different, but if Mr. Sherman is acting in the capacity of the council clerk, then he answers to the president and council members. But if he is acting in the capacity of the Utilities Commission, if he's acting in the capacity of the Shade Tree and Beautification Commission, or any other administrative body, then he would answer to the administration.
And that's my concern, because when we had Todd, he worked for two chiefs.
Right.
And so we're getting back to a position where a person's reporting to two chiefs now.
Yes,
Well,
yeah,
it wasn't, that's the reason we're concerned with Todd, because he reported to mayor and reported to council. And so, who was his boss? So, who's this person's boss gonna be? How are we gonna divide that up so it's fair?
I think the difference between the position of the mayor's assistant being the council clerk is that the person that the mayor's assistant chiefly works under is, by their title, the mayor. For instance, the mayor's assistant doesn't even report to me as the safety service director. So
yeah.
you put the mayor, and even as in my tenure on council, I have seen this be problematic in the past. In this position, you can't have the city clerk answer to council when frankly the role of council is limited and part-time, when there are a multitude of other administrative bodies in the city that the clerk will clerk for, be it MPC, BZA, I mean, there's a dozen of them I could think of off the top of my head, the Recreation Board. Those are administrative bodies, and the administration would,
We'll be giving this its first reading tonight, so
Yeah.
if we want to have the job description, I think that would be helpful for council.
Sure.
Again, we did talk through this during budget season, but let's shift a little bit and talk just for a couple of minutes about the executive administrator role, which also was budgeted for.
Right. So the role of the Public Utilities and Code Enforcement Executive Administrator is to create every other department right now either has an administrative assistant or executive administrator. The two that do not are Public Utilities and Code Enforcement. Code Enforcement is, a newer department where, we've taken roles of different divisions or different duties and created a fully formed and now funded department. Right now, particularly with code enforcement, you see a lot of administrative things that are, I think, keeping the city inspector and the assistant city inspector taking up a lot of their time that an administrator could be doing, or often my office is doing for them. Additionally, in public utilities, this is a, collectively $10 million, if not larger, enterprise that doesn't have an executive administrator, which we often see these administrative functions falling to union employees, which creates problems. So that we've had to address in other departments. So
I think this is a good introduction. I will plan to have another meeting, I think for 15 minutes at the next council meeting. Can we have the legislation for this second position also at that meeting, even if it's not finalized, just so that we can have it to look at? And I'm gonna wrap us up just so that we don't encroach too much more on the other time. But thank you.
I just wanna make sure that we don't put the person in a bind, who they report to, they knew who they report to, so they're not stuck with two bosses at the same time. Okay, we're gonna adjourn the employee and community relations. We're gonna move now to streets and public buildings with Mr. Severance, discuss a resolution 03.
Yes, Mr. Ball is going to come up and show us some
Right.
pictures.
So, part of our assignment here is a little bit of tightening our belt. As we look at asset management, we have a lot of assets and a lot of them need management. And we don't want to forget our asphalt, but we do have a lot of other things going on. So, in that conversation in the budget process, Director Sawyers, the mayor, all of us talked about the conditions of our roads. I believe Mr. Severance spent a couple days in the truck going around looking at all the streets with our assistant director for streets, one of our assistant directors in engineering. So we are getting behind. We won't make any lime sludge jokes, but we cannot use that to fix the street. So one of the things we're looking at is we've looked at the condition of the streets. This map shows an area where we do not have catch basins, and this is an opportunity to chip seal. The other thing this area has is it has a lot of active Columbia gas restoration and future Columbia gas restoration. Bruce can attest to that. Like, hey, they dug up my neighborhood. Well, most of the south end is going to be dug up, but if we wait till they're done to resurface our roads, we are going to have extremely poor asphalt. So our suggestion as a group, we suggest a chip seal program. This is, my guys did a quick number. This is about $6,000 a mile less than doing traditional skin it off mill and fill. Now what they estimated is what I call the, what we would probably Walmart or, a 1/2 inch mill and fill is what they're estimating this on. Normally we're doing like more than that, right? That's the absolute minimum. That's the Kroger parking lot repainting with a little bit of skin off and a little bit of asphalt. So we would really probably be saving a little bit more because we're going to go to roads that are not completely failed. We're going to apply this treatment and we're going to extend that life probably 7 to 10 years. Also, part of this is New Gambier Road. We have to pave that about every 10 years. We really can't afford to pave our streets every 10 years. So we did chip seal part of New Gambier Road last time. That's the last time we did chip seal. It's about time to do that again. New Gambier Road has a couple problems. One is drainage, and two is it has a beautiful canopy of trees. We are not going to remove that beautiful canopy of trees to have a little bit nicer asphalt. We have done a major tree trimming with AEP on New Gambier Road, but it is not a long-lived road. We do have some drainage improvements that we'll be working with the street department to do where the ditch is washing out. But so what we're proposing is this. Where did I write my number down? We budgeted a $260,000 project in the capital budget. So this is a named project that we presented. So yeah, questions?
At one time on New Gambier Road, they used a different type of asphalt because of all the shade and the lack of thawing, because the shade kept the, I'm sorry, when we did it last time, we did chip and seal?
Yeah, I think we have done both. Since in the 10 years that I've been here, we have paved part of it and we have chipped and sealed part of it. So, and the other thing that's happened, we've had several water breaks and gas. So the other thing that has happened to New Gambier Road is it's been dug up. About Terrell Drive, there's about the size of this part of the room, the length of, there's a pretty good dig in it.
I've driven across it.
Yes, so this would help to cover some of those, especially like in the south end where we're getting those little patches by Columbia Gas. This will help smooth those out and extend the life of that. The other thing we would do, particular in the south end, would be linear grading. Over the years, the grass builds up. We need to go in and skin that grass off so that the water can get off the road. At times, we've used our street crews to do that. We did talk about doing that work in-house. That's just something that it takes a big effort, it takes a lot of dump trucks, it takes away from the programs. With their emphasis moving somewhat more to stormwater, that would we would end up saving money to spend more on hiring a more, we're saving a lot of money by them doing stormwater work. From a cost perspective standpoint, we're planning to put the linear grading in the bid. So we've looked at that too. Go ahead.
What's the road on the south, on the very bottom there? What is that road? No, to
Over
the
here,
right.
to the right.
Is it
Yeah.
Glen?
Road, so.
Okay.
This is one we put in as an option, basically. So we have annexed part of Glen Road with the Nazarene University and the school. So when the township chip sealed last year, they asked us to go in with them, but we've realized there are 4 culverts that are in poor condition. So that section would be contingent on us getting those culverts replaced before we do the program. And
So
then you
Brian,
have-
the west part of Glen Road is already chip and seal, is that correct? And it's held, I drove it, when we talked about chip and seal, I drove that road and it seems to be holding up.
Yeah,
It's in good
so
condition.
maybe 3 years ago, so that part is in Clinton Township. We did a partnership with Clinton Township to where we picked up the little swedges of streets around Foundation Park that were going to be chip sealed, and we paid that part. We also paid to have them put covers over the manholes, because Glen Road and most of those Clinton Township have manholes, so we didn't want the chip seal on the manholes. So we partnered with them 3 or so years ago, and that's lasted really well.
That go clear out to the orchard?
Yes. Mhm. We don't go clear to the orchard, but Glen Road does go to Glen Hill Orchard and then on to Lehman Road. So part of this is where we have New Gambier Road, Pleasant Township does plan to bid a chip seal. So they plan to chip seal their portion of New Gambier Road. So in theory, this would become a partnership. So we bid it, they bid it. If the same company gets it, it would all happen at the same time. So we're focusing a section on the south end, and then New Gambier, Edgewood, Glen Road are kind of those outliers. Yes, so, again, Edgewood Road is probably our poorest street in the entire city. We did offer to fix it, and the voters were very loud about it. So this is a maintenance activity. This is not a reconstruction restoration.
What about the infrastructure under Edgewood Road?
Well, so the gas company has a plan to completely replace their gas line, which is located in the ditch on the east side of the road. They have not pulled a permit for that. The water line is in poor condition, sanitary is in poor condition, and the storm sewer is in failure. So this is not going to be beautiful, but this will get additional life for the road.
Brian, the Riley and Delano and just Parrott, one of these streets down here.
Yeah.
Some of those roads carry more traffic than others, Parrott certainly.
Yeah.
Is that a consideration that some of these roads have less traffic than others, or is it just the amount of traffic doesn't necessarily matter, we're just extending the life of the road?
Yeah, we're extending the life of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Parrott's in pretty good condition, but it does have some low spots where it's holding water. Part of it is the lower the traffic, it'll take a little longer for that we're going to use limestone. It'll take a little longer for that stone to work in.
So do
Thank
we
you.
quickly fill a low hole area before we chip seal, or do we just throw it all in there?
A lot of the low areas are occasioned just because the edge of road has maybe come up more than other places, and so if we do the linear grading, we believe we can probably knock out 90% of the low areas. There will be some repairs that'll have to be included where we do put down some asphalt to fill in some holes and some areas where we're seeing failure. But for the most part, if we get that thatch sort of buildup of grass, and we know that we're going to get a lot of phone calls. So one of our commitments, I've got Gabby here, is one of our temporary helpers, is we will do a notice. We've prepared a notification saying, hey, we're going to scrape this section of your yard and haul it away in a dump truck. It is technically road right of way. So we will do a notification where we're going to do the linear grading, because that's something that people are concerned about. We will also reapply seed so that that area can regrow and regreen.
So when we apply seed, do we go back so many weeks or months later to make sure that it's actually taken?
Yeah.
Not just a weed patch again then?
Yeah, we'll put seed on it, and then we can go back and touch up.
Monitors what the gas company does for all the stuff they've ripped up, and they're supposed to put seed down.
Yeah, we do. They have a permit.
You monitor that.
Yeah. Yeah. So the gas company. There's two things. So I believe Todd in the mayor's office. They do public meetings. They have a hotline number for yard issues. They also have an emergency number for gas leaks. So we have, part of their permit is we have to have a number that citizens can call to deal with these complaints. If for some reason that does not get resolved, you need to call my office, and then we will talk to the gas company, because we have, the auditor's office has a bond, so if they fail to perform, we can go and do the work and work through the auditor's office to pull the bond and bill them for the work they have failed to complete inside the road right away. Now, we don't necessarily we can't pull their bond if they were in your backyard, but they do have to give us a public affairs number and someone we can contact for any issues in the public right of way or the private.
Okay, we need to be done with this one. We have one more before we take a break.
You don't cut into your own time, right?
Right, so the thing is, so we're asking for you to, we are not in a hurry. We are preparing for summertime. So we're asking for the second reading, third reading. We do not need the emergency clause because we will put this out to bid. We're trying to be super proactive with this one, so. And this is in your report.
It is?
I think so. I gave it to Tanner on
Be that guy
Friday.
to Take a picture anyway.
But yeah, we
All
can
right,
get you that.
thank you.
Mr. Severns, gonna turn it back over to you. for resolution .05, renovating 2 floors of the Mount Vernon Municipal Center.
Yes, so Brian, I believe, was doing this again, and his intern, thank you, young lady.
Contractor.
Yeah, bring that one over. There's 2 floors, so. Also, thank Quentin and Dwayne for their cutting and paste skills here. Architecture paper far exceeds engineering paper, so. Bigger than we expected. Okay. Everybody knows, the number 1 goal is to get everybody out of the Plaza building. So I don't know if we're at step 6 or step 0. So what we're bringing forth, we are approaching a 95% set of plans to take over the basement and the main floor of the COTC, the Future Municipal Center. So we have, let me get my numbers here. And I can walk you through the design, but that puts, so just what that grabs, right? So it's everybody in City Hall. That picks up the water and tax office and brings them in. There's also room for our public works folks to have offices. So the 2 ladies that work out of the cemetery would have a landing space here, where we have code enforcement here is basement and 2nd floor. It gives us a 4-person office as that group goes from 2 to 3. If ever it gets bigger, we have room for that. Gives us more file storage. We have, we are required the community development block grant files, prevailing wage files. Some of those things we still have to have in paper. Right now we have people like interns and folks sort of sitting on top of file cabinets. It creates quite a few more meeting room spaces. One of the things we've worked really hard on, and as a group, the whole city staff is trying to think about the building and doing the lightest touch possible. So there's several kitchens, there's several break rooms that are already plumbing. Well, if you've ever rebuilt a house, the most expensive thing you can do is a bathroom or a kitchen, right? So we are trying to preserve those areas and then fit our need around that. So we're still, I don't know what we budgeted for this, but we're working,
Reimbursement resolution, council was 1.5 million.
yeah, let me find it here. So we are under that with our initial estimates, so. Let me pull this up, because I had that handy and then I got distracted.
Okay.
Does anybody have questions, or?
Yeah.
Brian, would you mind pointing to the squares and just kind of telling us a general, like, these are meeting rooms, and this is where city council's chambers would be, blah, blah, blah. Just to get a feel.
Yeah, give me 1 second here, because you're going to want to know. Again, this is a architect level, so without any contingencies or inspections, we are at about $850,000. And the architect at this point wants me to have an 8.7% contingency and a price escalation, which I don't know exactly what that's not a word I use, but that's an architect word, right? So that puts us slightly over $1 million with their safety factors, but we are pushing a 90% set of plans. Yes, so let me do my Vanna White here.
So which side is Main Street facing? Left?
He is on Main
Yep.
Street.
Yeah, so this is north, and this is Main Street, so you have the main entrance you're familiar with, the staircase, the elevator. We add a door here, so that so COTC is still doing COTC stuff upstairs. So they would be able to have an entry to the elevator. This becomes kind of a shared space. So this side of the building, very, very light touch. So we start off with the mayor, we work through safety service, public works, HR, and then there's a shared office. We're just basically sticking a double door and a single door. Then you have sort of break rooms, IT closet, then the big meeting room becomes city council. We will need to build a sort of, I think the word diocese here, but we don't have, we're not gonna move this, we're doing this in the court. So this is pretty much, untouched, other than getting the front. Then we have a really nice high-tech, I call this like the high-tech conference room, has video conferences, soft chairs, has a little, canteen, vending machine area, that's untouched. Then we go into this quadrant, which is southwest, this is pretty much a rebuild. So we're taking those kind of there's like a printing room,
It looks like a library, kind of.
a little library-esque.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna rebuild this, so we start with our utility building, and then that'll have two, where sort of walk-up service areas. Then we'll have the auditor kind of be the center, sort of the anchor center here, and then we'll have the tax office. There's a really nice sort of open lounge area. We wanna preserve part of that, but we're also concerned when you go to the tax office and there's a huge line, you're giving out your social security number and everybody's on their phone. We're trying to create sort of a separate space to give some privacy so that it would maybe 3 people max go into the windows, and then everyone else is kind of could queue out here with some reusing some of that furniture. Questions on main floor?
The first thing comes to my mind, there's a lot of offices there.
Yeah.
Very little parking space, and we're sharing that parking space with COTC. How do we fight over who gets the parking spot?
Oh, yeah.
Already taken care of that.
Yeah, that's, I think Tanner's,
Yep.
in the contract.
I wanna know the answer.
Well, the back lot that COTC currently uses is shared between visitor space, the city space, and COTC space. The lot across the street is solely for Mount Vernon employees. The lot across the street from that, on Ohio Avenue, is for COTC students. And right now, with the distance that we are giving them, they know not to schedule classes that basically interfere with the city.
How many seats will be in the city council chambers? I mean, for the crowd is what I'm,
A crowd.
Are
sometimes it's a crowd.
about 60, I believe.
Okay. And there's space for overflow in the basement or somewhere?
Yeah, we can, so what we do now with the simulcast, if we needed simulcast capabilities, we could be able to broadcast to this boardroom, and we could set up, one of the, maybe in our downstairs conference room. So we'd have two opportunities if we needed to simulcast.
Thank you.
A meeting, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, basement, engineering was in the basement at City Hall in the beginning. We're moving back to the basement. So, yeah, so code enforcement and engineering would be lower level. So you have stairs, elevator, we'll have sort of a welcoming area with a little bit of a lounge. So sometimes we get 3 or 4 people in line, there's nowhere to sit here in City Hall, and we have a person who needs a chair, we have to go get one, and it's a little bit inconvenient if we have a queue for folks waiting for a meeting. So we would take part of that lounge area. So the biggest challenge is in the basement is there's no bathrooms. Before, when it was a movie theater, there was a bathroom, but that was removed in the renovation because really it's not needed the way they use the building. But for us, we would need bathrooms. So we would be installing a public restroom, would be easily accessible, and then staff restrooms in the back is probably our biggest change to the lower levels, restoring bathrooms. So the other things are kind of simple. We're not, with the code enforcement, we're just creating 4 offices in an existing classroom. So we're not doing anything structural. We're just taking the classroom and breaking it down into 4 offices. We'll have So part of us, we're storing materials off-site, so engineering uses the vac shop for, stakes and paint and different things like that. So we would be burning all of our products into one place. So that gives us, this is kind of it's not really a wet training room, but that was like where they were doing their hydraulics labs. So it already has a nice uncarpeted floor, so. Questions on this?
All right. I think we're good. Any questions quickly, so that we can get a break here?
Yep, have a break till 7:30, begin the legislative portion.
Yeah, so the last point is, this one, we're saying you're welcome to take it to a third reading, but we do want the emergency clause. So we do have some structural changes on the main floor that still need a few weeks, so
Will do.
we can go ahead to that third reading.
Thank you, Mr. Ball.
How many soft chairs, that extra?
Plenty.
Are we gonna get some chairs that don't sink?
Well, let's not get.
Are we giving these chairs?
call the legislative portion of January 2026 meeting to order. Mr. Sherman, please call the roll.
Mr. Mahan,
Here.
Mr. Jacklin, Mr. Ruckman,
Here.
Mrs. Hager,
Here.
Mr. Miller,
Here.
Mr. Severns,
Here.
Ms. Keener.
Here.
A motion to excuse Mr. Jackman.
So moved.
Second.
And moved in second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. He is excused. The invocation this evening will be given by Councilman Ruckman. Please rise for invocation, remain standing for the pledge.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to gather together this evening. We pray that you would please just bless our time together, that you would bless us with wisdom, and that you would just allow us to do good for the city and the citizens. Lord, we pray that you would please just continue to guide us and protect us, Lord, and just ask that you would allow us to carry out your will wherever it is that we may find ourselves. In Christ's name we pray these things. Amen.
Thank you, Councilman. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What a rookie.
Council, in your packets were the minutes from the January 12th meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? Now I'd ask for a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
And moved in second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They are approved. Mr. Sherman, any petitions or communications?
No.
Our committee reports, the proclamations, the liquor control licenses. I see no one wanting to speak on matters of city concern. So moving now to the legislative portion of the meeting. Council, in your packet is the agenda for tonight. Are there additions or corrections?
Mr. President, there is an addition. I believe we have Resolution 2026-14. That will be an addition on this agenda. All of you should have a paper copy of that.
You know, 13, is there one correction on a dollar number?
Yes.
Okay, so there are two changes to that. Any other additions or corrections? If not, I assume it's approved by consensus, and we'll move into the legislative portion of the meeting. We have no resolution tonight for third reading. We have one for second reading, and that's resolution number 2026-03. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids and enter into contract for the 2026 Street Chip Seal Project.
Mr. Severns.
Yes, we will give this a second reading tonight.
This resolution receives a second reading. We move now to resolution for first reading. The first one is resolution number 2026-06. Mr. Sherman.
There is one other resolution for second reading.
This is, 05 is for second reading.
I'm sorry. Resolution number 2026-05. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids and enter into contract for the renovation of 2 floors of the 236 South Main Street, Mount Vernon Municipal Center, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Severns.
Yes, we will give this a second reading.
This resolution receives a second reading. Now we move to resolution for first reading. First one is resolution number 2026-06. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution confirming the mayor's appointment of Gregory Yashnik to the Mount Vernon Planning Commission, reappointing Amber Keener to the Board of Trustees of the Knox County Convention and Visitors Bureau, reappointing John Ruckman to the Board of Directors of Experience Mount Vernon of Mount Vernon, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Keener.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to suspend the rule requiring 3 separate readings and take Resolution 2026-6 to its third and final reading.
Second.
And moved and seconded for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Sherman.
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Severns,
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
The rule is suspended. Mrs. Keener.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to adopt Resolution 2026-6.
Second.
And moved and seconded for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mrs. Keener.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mayor, we have a lot of people refilling the same role, but if you'd like to talk about Mr. Yashnik, who I believe is here, that would be great.
Mr. Yashnik is here among us. He has offered to, he's been very excited about getting involved with the City Municipal Planning Commission. as well as a member of that, you're also a member of the Historical Review Commission. As you know, we've got a lot of activity going on with these things, and so it's nice to see somebody stepping up to do that. He does this position, if confirmed by council, would continue to fill the unexpired term of longtime commission member Austin Swallow, who served over 24 years on that commission. And so we would, upon success, we'll look at reappointing then later on in December, at the end of the year. But we're excited to have the help and Greg for stepping up and wanting to be a part of this. So.
And our kudos do go to Austin Swallow
He's just been
for
outstanding.
the years he's been on there. It's been a long time. And where will you be in 24 years on this commission?
Well, thank you for your willingness to serve and for Mr. Ruckman's willingness to be on Experience Mount Vernon for another term.
And for you.
I love that one, so nobody can beat me off with a stick.
Any other discussion? Mr. Sherman?
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Next resolution is resolution number 2026-07. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution adopting the Knox County Multi-Jurisdictional Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Miller?
Yes, I'd like to give this its first reading and also request a 15-minute committee meeting next session.
This resolution receives its first reading. Now I move to resolution number 2026-08. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution authorizing and directing the Safety Service Director to file an application to the State of Ohio to participate in the Brownfield Remediation Program for the Mount Vernon Justice Center and State Route 13 projects.
Mr. Severns?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. We'll give this a first reading, and I would like a 10-minute meeting on the February 9 gathering of us all.
Some might call it a legislative session.
Yeah.
This resolution receives its first reading. Next resolution is resolution number 2026-09. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution appointing council representatives to the Volunteer Peace Officers Dependents Fund Board and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Keener?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to suspend the rule requiring 3 separate readings and take Resolution 2026-9 to its third and final reading.
Second?
Been moved and second for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Sherman?
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
Rules suspended. Mrs. Keener?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to adopt Resolution 2026-9.
Second?
Been moved and second for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mrs. Keener?
Thank you, Mr. President. We appoint a lot of folks in January so that they can get to work. So, administration, if you guys want to talk about these ones as well.
We recently did the auxiliary firemen's one. This is a companion piece to that. We set this up several years ago. Then the state requires us to. I think we probably have been a little deficient in getting people for this board. There's an annual report that we need to do, so we're looking forward to getting the council members on board so that we can keep this up and moving.
Are there any questions? Oh,
Th-
sorry.
This will need to be for the fire department, not for the PD. So we should probably amend this for the fire,
Or we could appoint them to both.
or you can do both. They meet once a year.
Are we
Or
able
as
to
needed.
amend, though,
Yeah.
once we've,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
You can amend it at any time until it's passed.
So we would need to amend Section 1
And the title.
and the title to say Volunteer Peace Officers Dependents Board, Fund Board, and what? The
What's
fire.
what was the fire name, the specific fire name that we just passed?
What day was it passed?
The fire board that we just set up, was it end of December?
Is it the same thing
It's
Fire Officers Dependent Fund Board, I believe.
something like that.
Is that a motion?
I think they're looking to.
Just to have the
verify
title correct. So I am going to motion to amend both the title and section 1 to appoint both of these individuals, Mr. Mahan and Mr. Miller, not only to the Volunteer Peace Officers Dependents Fund Board, but also to the one that was created for the fire department that I believe is called the Fire Officers Dependents Fund Board.
Assuming that Mr. or Councilman Miller and Councilman Mahan are willing
Are
to,
willing to.
to do this.
If you're not, vote no.
The reason for that,
Do we have to have the exact name or?
I don't think so.
We're getting it right now.
yeah, both council and the public are aware, is Mr. Miller is the current chair of Police and Fire. Mr. Mahan was the immediate past chair of Police and Fire.
It's the Volunteer Firefighters Dependents Fund.
So the Volunteer Firefighter Dependents Fund. Do I have a second?
Second.
Then moved and second to amend this resolution. Any discussion on the amendment? Mr. Sherman?
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
This resolution is amended. We're now back to vote on the resolution as amended. Mrs. Keener?
So I move to adopt Resolution 2026-9 as amended.
Second.
And moved and second that this resolution be adopted as amended. Any further discussion? Mr. Sherman?
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Now we move to resolution number 2026-10. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution authorizing and directing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the KNO 125040 State Route 13 Corpo project and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Severance?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to give this a first reading, and I would like a 10-minute meeting at our gathering on February 9th.
All right. Resolution receives its first reading. We now move to resolution number 2026-11. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution authorizing and directing the Safety Service Director to lease the property located at 1 East High Street and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Severance?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I move to suspend the rules requiring 3 separate readings and move Resolution 2026-11 to its third and final read.
Second.
And moved and second for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Sherman?
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
The roll is suspended. Mr. Severance?
Yes, I move to adopt Resolution 2026-11.
Second.
And moved and second for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mr. Severance?
Yes, Mr. Salyers or Mr. Ball, come on up, somebody.
He's chomping at the bit.
He's used
Mr.
up his
Ball.
voice already. I'm just trying to help him out. Yeah, so we're really sad to see Almost Famous has notified us that they will be finished. They've closed last Thursday, and then they will be turning the building back to us the 1st of February. And in their circle of friends, they were able to identify someone to take over the business, and they would like to sign a lease with us for basically the same price, and then reopen the candy shop with the residual inventory. So we're excited about this. The folks that are Sweet Street are a married couple that one of them is a teacher at Pleasant Street. The other one is a real estate agent. They both live in Gambier. They have seen the books. They know what they're getting into. The major advantage to us is Rob and I will get this lease prepared for Tanner's signature. Then the utilities will not turn back to us in these cold weather. So it'll be a seamless transition to where we will just pass the keys on to the next person and not have to maintain a vacant space for any period of time.
Any questions, council?
And then, yeah, just generally, we have 2 other vacant, just for general public advertisement. We have two other areas that are actively available for rent. So the former vac shop and the former Moonlit Soul. So,
Thank you,
well, perfect.
Mr. Sherman?
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Severns,
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Next resolution is resolution number 2026-12. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids and award a qualification-based selection for design services related to the North Sandusky Street and Upper Fredericktown Road Improvements Project, KNO 125040, State Route 13, Corpo, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Severns?
Thank you, Mr. President. We will give this a first reading, and we're gonna tie this meeting in with, resolution 10. It's gonna be just a total of 10 minutes at our next gathering on February 9th, 2026. Thank you.
This resolution receives its first reading. We now move to two resolutions that were added recently. That's resolution number 2026-13.
Actually, 13 was there before, we just altered it.
Okay. Mr. Mahan?
Thank you, sir. I move to suspend the rule requiring three separate readings. Take Resolution 2026-13 to its third and final reading.
Second.
Then move to second for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Severns?
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
The rule is suspended. Mr. Mahan?
Thank you, Mr. President. We need to amend, Section 3. Council, you have this in front of you. We're changing the amount from 98.90 to 49.45. Is there a explanation for our good fortune in
Oh,
Oh, part of,
this is section 1, number 3.
Section 1, number 3, excuse me?
Are moving to amend?
I am moving to amend.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Move to second, we amend this resolution. Any discussion on the amendment?
Dan?
Part of that is being borne by another party, as for a legal bill, so, per an agreement, we only have to pay half, so.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Other questions?
Okay, we're voting on the amendment. Mr. Sherman?
Mr. Mahan,
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman,
Yes.
Mrs. Hager,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
This resolution is amended. Mr. Sepp. Mr. Mahan?
Take us through this, Mr. Brinkman.
All right,
Well, wait,
Wait,
are we
wait,
moving
wait.
to adopt
I
it
have
now?
moved to adopt. I'm sorry, this is sloppy and I apologize. I move to adopt Resolution 2026-13 as amended.
Second.
And move to second to adopt this resolution as amended. Any discussion?
all right. So tonight, we have 5 then and nows before council, and since there are some new members of council, I thought I'd do a brief refresher on what a then and now is. I thought it might be beneficial. It'll be brief. But, so then and now is technically, according to the Ohio Revised Code, anything for which there is a contract where there is no certificate of availability of funds. So what's a certificate of availability of funds, right? It's really just something we print on a purchase order that says this money has been appropriated and is available for use, or is encumbered, or will soon be available. And that just gets printed through our software on any purchase order that any department issues. The intent behind the law that, in practice, it's a then and now is any is anything where there's an invoice before a purchase order. But the intent behind it, which dates from the earlier part of the last century, is to ensure that we're only spending what we budget for. So that's the short of it, and you'll see in the years ahead, your time on council, that some of these things might be more technically then and nows than within the spirit of the law, or did we actually budget for the thing in place. So we have a few of these tonight that actually fit some of these requirements. So like the first one, we have the AEP bill. This is more or less just a function of the year ends, all the purchase orders have to end Do we budget for our electric bills? Of course we do. We spend like $1.1 million on keeping the lights on, street lights and all that. So we do. The second one is for the OWDA, Ohio Water Development Authority. This one is for a design loan. We had just, I think, gotten approval on this loan, and then they sent us invoice, I think,
So
a
if I
short time
could-
after. But we didn't know the amount
Yeah.
for which the fee
We-
would be.
We didn't know how much the fee would be. We didn't know the entity, the exact entity that we would have to pay. And by the time that we were notified of it, and this is not knocking the OWDA in any way, much appreciation. But by the time that we received it, it was 11 days in its 30-day window to pay. So, of course, we could not properly make a purchase order in time to fulfill that. And the same way with number 3. We got both the invoice and the W-9 to pay the vendor at the exact same time. So you see there are sometimes, as Mr. Brinkman pointed out, there's some that meet the letter of the law for then and now, and then the spirit of the law. You're fluctuating back and forth here. Some of these are on us, some of these are just wildly out of our control.
Then number 4 is for bond payment. Again, we kind of tooled around with where some of these bond payments were coming from at the latter part of last year. So I'm fairly certain there was a previous purchase order in place on that one. And then for the last one, for Inside Public Sector, that's just it's for an IT product. I don't know if Tanner had any, or Mr. Salyers had any.
Yeah, we are changing the way that we're paying for several things, so we're actually in negotiation with the way that this was being paid. Part of it was being paid through county IT, now that bill's coming directly to us, and you should not see Inside Public Sector on a then and now anymore. So.
Do we issue blanket POs?
Yes, we do.
Some of these, like, AEP is not a blanket PO.
Well, it's at the beginning of the year. So all blankets have to end at the end of the year, and they become regular purchase orders, and then they can become blanket again after the beginning of the year.
Any other questions? Mr. Sherman?
Mr. Mahan?
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Severns?
Yes.
Ms. Keener?
Yes.
The resolution is adopted. The final resolution for this evening is resolution number 2026-14. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution authorizing and directing the auditor of the city of Mount Vernon to make supplemental appropriations.
Mr. Mahan?
Thank you, sir. I move to suspend the rule requiring 3 separate readings. Take Resolution 2026-14 to its third and final reading.
Second.
And moved and second for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Sherman?
Mr. Mahan?
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Severns?
Yes.
Ms. Keener?
Yes.
The rule is suspended. Mr. Mahan?
Thank you, sir. I move to adopt Resolution 2026-14.
Second.
And moved and second for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mr. Mahan?
Yes, sir. Mr. Brinkman, help us go through. We've got bond revenue, but as council, as you'll recall, this is not an issued bond, but one that we financed ourselves. Is that correct?
Yes, it's through a process called manuscript debt. We went through the process last year with the H2 overhaul, where we saw the need for new meters for water and wastewater. This is going to allow water and wastewater to purchase these meters. We got the approval last week through bond council for the issuance of the bond, which was issued, I believe, last Wednesday. So now all the brakes have been kind of removed with issuing this, and then the last step now is before you all to allow the increased appropriation within those lines so that they can receive that money from the general fund to the 701 and 720 lines and spend that money on those meters.
And we've received these meters. Some of them have been installed.
Yes.
The project is actively taking place right now.
Right. So, council, these are goods that we've already received. We kind of have an imperative to pay and I apologize for all of us that it's coming late to you.
And we were trying to do this in tandem. We were trying to do this financing operation in tandem with the project. That way we can move the project forward and make sure that we've got both the best deal on pricing, the best deal on the bond rate. Because if you remember when we first talked about H2 overhaul, we were talking about up to $2 million. And we were looking at anywhere from a 4.5 to a 5% interest rate. And we were able, and I completely give credit over to our public utilities folks. They were able to negotiate with who ultimately was the folks that we did the contract with. They got all these meters and then some, and then they got flow meters for our wastewater plant or for our wastewater system and stormwater system, so we can look at that intake, that I&I, that intake and inflow. And we did all of that, this whole project, for about $250,000 less than we anticipated. And the interest rate so with manuscript debt, we are paying this interest to ourselves. So we're not paying the traditional bond in the traditional bond market. We're looking at 2.74%. So since we started this, the Fed has cut the rate, and we are getting a better deal against ourselves, I guess. So take that, us. So right now, what you're seeing is just like it says, the supplemental appropriation of our money to other parts of our accounts.
Any other questions? Mr. Sherman?
Mr. Mahan?
Yes.
Mr. Ruckman?
Yes.
Mrs. Hager?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Severns?
Yes.
Ms. Keener?
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. That concludes the resolutions. We now move to ordinances. We have no ordinances for third or second reading. We do have two for first reading. The first one is 2026-01. Mr. Sherman?
An ordinance establishing compensation, benefits, and terms of employment for the city clerk and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Keener?
Thank you, Mr. President. We're going to give this its first reading. Can we have a 15-minute committee meeting at our next meeting? And can we get to council just either in the agenda or emailed to us a job description for this position so that we can start to see how that time is going to be managed between two different kings?
Yes.
Thank you.
This ordinance receives its first reading. We now move the final ordinance. This is ordinance number 2026-02. Mr. Sherman?
An ordinance to amend section 911.04 of the codified ordinances of the city of Mount Vernon.
Mr. Ruckman?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'm give ordinance number 2026-02 its first reading and ask for a 10-minute committee meeting at our next council meeting.
Yeah, a lot of committee meetings. This ordinance receives its first reading. We now move to remarks of administration. Mayor Starr.
Thank you, Mr. President and Council. Council, I gave you a pretty detailed follow-up from last week, so I'm not going to repeat any of those things, but I did want to mention, since the weather events have been monopolizing the news cycle and our phone lines and everywhere else, our crews have been working around the clock. They have been pushing the snow around. We got an unbelievable amount of snow. It varies in different parts of the county. It varies in different parts of the city. And so they've been working solidly since midnight Sunday morning. And we want to make sure that we keep that in mind. Now, today we have been removing snow down South Main Street and around Public Square. We'll probably, I'm sure we will continue doing that tomorrow as well. We have been counting on help from all of the public works departments, so not just streets, but parks and recreation, or parks, public buildings and lands and cemetery, and even our utilities, public utilities have been helping out. Distribution and collection have been helping out with some things to remove the snow from the high traffic areas. We're trying to continue to get commerce reestablished in the downtown area. So anyway, we are working. I can't tell you when we're going to get to your street next, because it is just, there are so many people who are calling, when are you gonna get to my street? You plowed snow in front of my driveway. The snow has got to go somewhere, and so we're really counting on the neighborhoods and the neighbors, residents, to help us out on that. Having said that, also, there are a number of people who do not have vehicles and do not travel on the roads, and they do use sidewalks. And so, again, we're asking property owners, businesses, residents, and so forth, to please clear the sidewalk in front of your property. If everybody can manage their own square footage of real estate, that would be lovely. Yeah, I know that we have to push the snow somewhere, but again, we're trying to remove that as much as possible. But we just need everybody to help out with that. And it's going to be here for a while. There is a short supply of salt in the Mid-Ohio region. That's completely out of our control. We had to look in our crystal ball last March and decide how much salt we were going to need for the year, which again, we will do that here in a couple of months for 2026 and 27. And so, you know, we do the best we can. So we're proceeding cautiously and conservatively with the product, the material that we're putting down. We're reserving most all of that for the high trafficked areas, the main thoroughfares. But residential streets, you're going to have snow on there for the foreseeable future, at least probably 2 weeks, until this cold spell breaks, because it won't get up until the 20s. Is it next week or the week after? I can't remember. And
Well,
then
please express our appreciation to them, because I
they
know it's
have-
not fun
I'll tell you.
at 2 or 3 in the morning for them to be out there.
Yes.
One concern I have is people walking across the viaduct, you know, where the snow is
Sure.
piled up. They're walking out in the middle of the street.
Well,
That's a concern.
that is ours. I think we do have that also. There is a contract for that, if I'm not mistaken, but I think that goes all, and that contract includes all along Newark Road, all the way out to Blackjack Road as well. So we are doing our best to keep up with that, but it was snowing a little bit earlier today. Last thing I wanted to make sure that I mentioned is that, well, we have had a couple of water line breaks or valve breaks, and we did have a crew come in at 3 in the morning this past morning to, in a very, very cold situation, to repair a valve. We also had another break in the downtown area that has been also handled as well. And so where the lines are exposed to the cold air is where they're vulnerable. Where they're covered up by snow, they're protected because it's a layer of insulation. And so, but the cold weather will show us where our frailties are. The freeze thaw will also show us. So, you know, hopefully this will be the last cold spell that we have. But that is something that wreaks havoc. One of the things that I did talk with the fire chief about was that if you know people who use space heaters, to make sure you're following the recommended manufacturer usage instructions. If you have people who use electric blankets, make sure that you are following that as well. Don't wad them up. Don't lay on top of them. Have them lay on top of you. It's the wiring that is the problem. When you put pressure on it, that causes a problem. And so house fires can happen as a result of that, and you don't want that to happen certainly anytime, but especially when it's sub-zero weather. The police chief also wanted me to make sure to mention that if you do have people who, neighbors and so forth, if they needed to be checked on, please check on them in person. If you just call and say, and this is the sage wisdom of our police force, if you call and say, "How are you doing?" "Oh, I'm okay." How do you know that they're really okay? So please, if you have the opportunity to check on neighbors who are either elderly or have special conditions, physical conditions and so forth, taking a look to see that they're okay is also very important. So just need to slow down. This is going to pass. Before you know it, we'll all be in shorts again. But it's going to be a little while for us to get through this. So appreciate everyone's patience. We are working hard. I promise you that.
I've always said the last job I'd want in this city is repairing a water line up to my knees in cold water, fixing that pipe.
We've been there this morning, yeah, they're there.
That is a tough job. Well, kudos go to them too. Mr. Sayers.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, we're just incredibly thankful for our public workers out there doing the stuff that none of us want to do. I shoveled out my van, and I felt like I was facing a very uphill battle, and I looked around and realized that I hadn't gone very far. I can only imagine what they are feeling in those plows. So, as the mayor said, we're trying to get to all the streets, all the alleyways. Can help us out, move your vehicles. Check on your neighbors. A big thing, even if you have an electric blanket, do not fall asleep with it. Make sure you turn it off. Just simple things that you can do that can definitely save your life, save a neighbor's life. Just be neighborly right now. On top of that, we have thoughtfully postponed the Washington Forum tomorrow. It was scheduled at the Woodward. It will be at the Gathering Place on February 4th, still the same time, 6 to 8 p.m. Dr. Jeff Sakinga from the Ashbrook Institute National University will be the keynote speaker. This guy will also be there.
All right. Thank you.
That's all.
Mr. Stoller.
Nothing tonight, Mr. President.
Mr. Brickman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a thank you to our streets guys for all the hard work they're putting in, long hours, getting the streets cleaned up after this.
Mr. Braun.
I have nothing, thank you.
Mrs. Hager.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just really want to thank the street workers and the city workers, everyone who's been working really, really hard to make things passable for us. I cannot tell us enough how much I appreciate what they're doing. I've had people actually tell me lots of positive things, that they really appreciate everything that everyone's doing in the city, because this has definitely been unprecedented. So thank you.
I don't mind being awakened at night with a snowplow going down my street.
Nope.
I don't like to be waking at night, but that's a sweet sound. Mr. Miller.
Nothing tonight.
Mrs. Keener.
I would also like to say thanks to the street department, but also thanks to the sheriff's department and our police department here in Mount Vernon, because they have been helping a lot of folks. They helped a young man get his car out of a ditch after he was called into work during a level 3 snow emergency, and they have been really good, and I just appreciate the work that they are doing as well.
Mr. Ruckman.
Nothing this evening, Mr. President.
Mr. Severance.
Yes, thank you again to all of the workers that have helped us get out of this snow mess, and utility people, everything. I know many of us have said thank you, but it does matter, and we do appreciate it very much. And I am a proud grandfather tonight. For the first time. I have a grandson named Rory Philip Severns. He was born this morning at 2:59 a.m. He was 8 pounds, 14 ounces, and 21 inches. And everybody is healthy and well, and I am proud.
Yahoo!
I have pictures if you need to see it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mahan.
Council, I appreciate your indulgence this evening on the paying these bills. The auditor knows we want to have the information to you as quickly as possible. We're going to continue to strive to do that. I felt tonight especially that, we have taken possession of these meters. We put some of them in the ground. We needed to get them paid for. So I appreciate your indulgence in that. Be safe, everybody. Take care of your neighbors.
Thank you, council, for your understanding for moving the meeting from last night to tonight. And also thank Cheryl for, she's gonna listen to all this on the live streaming, because she couldn't be here tonight. Thank you the media for attention to this meeting. That being said, I call for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
And move to second, we adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. We are adjourned.